Yeah, no, that and right back here, it's coming in, and I even got a little bit more on top than I used to. The horseshoe of power is what we used to call it. Um, Scottish crash, no sandwich. I'm gonna stab the sandwich. He's probably asleep. He's probably asleep. God bless him. You know, he's had a couple of streams this week. I wouldn't be upset if he missed one, but it's a blessing to have the crash override, brother. I'm glad you're here. We're gonna do a little bit of walkie-talkie. You know, I pay extra to get stabbed. You know, I'm like, here, sweetheart, do me a favor. Just give me a little something right here, and then stick your finger in it. That'd be great. You know, that's just me. I'm a little bit of a wackadoodle sometimes. I can't help it. Okay, for those of you who don't know, though, that was my original theme music. Metallica's "To Live Is to Die," and it's a mandolin. And this is 25 years ago. I had a guy take and loop it, right, and I've kept that. Where's your comfort scotch? Where's my comfort scotch? Oh, brother, I've got two. I've got the one that came from the Highlands, and I've got one. I rebought the port. I fell in love with the port so much when I was at Jungle Gyms, I bought another bottle. But my comfort scotch, oh, daddy, my comfort scotch is right here. I gotta keep it. I gotta snuggle up with it real nice. Yeah, I love this right here. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I can't don't put it too far away from me. I gotta have it. But no. Yeah, that's my comfort scotch. I've added some paraphernalia back here. Playful. Everything has to be playful. I brought the haggis. The haggis is right here. I bought it from Jungle Gyms. There's some Scottish haggis straight from the land of Scotland. What did I say it came from? Fife? It comes from Fife in Scotland. It is made in Scotland, packed in Scotland, and I paid a pretty penny for it. And I don't care. I had to have it. So, and I got me a stogie. I got me a stogie to smoke around Christmas time when my mom and dad are here. We're gonna do some smoking. And Crash will think this is funny. I'm gonna pack a joint for my folks because I want to see what happens. Well, mainly my mom. My dad's heart's not all that great, but I want to see what happens. What my mom says when she gets whacked out of her brain. That's gonna be hilarious to find out because she's already way the hell out of there. Yes, we went through Fife on the train between Edinburgh and Perth. And but today's stream went to Edinburgh. I'm sorry, I did it out loud again, didn't I? Don't correct me. I corrected myself. Edinburgh and Perth. Yes, I'm sorry. I've had a long couple of days. They didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night. I know. I'm sorry. So today's stream, we're going from Perth up to Inverness, which is 3 syllables, not one, guys. It's 3 syllables. Inverness. And then we're going from Inverness out to Dunderdrocket because that's where we keep the Loch Ness Monster. There's a lot of ground to cover. And like I said, it's ingrained in me, but my brain's not going to have remembered every single detail like I did in that first stream. So this might go a little faster than the last one. What about the Perth pronunciation, though? Yeah, it's Perth. It's not Perth, but I gotta do it that way. Yes, drum the drocket. That's what I said. It's not Perth. You're right. It's Perth, you dirty rat. Yes. But anyway, so we to recap where we're at in the journey. We'd gone from Edinburgh up to Perth. We had a really good dinner, which was you did get me. You did get me. We had a really good dinner there at the Northport, and we'd gone on to a hotel. You can rewatch that journey yourself. It was a great stream for me. I don't know about everybody else. And then the next day we get up, and it's time to get back on the train because we're going up the road across the Harry Potter Bridge up to Inverness in order to see the Loch Ness Monster. I am deep into Scottish Tigers territory at this point. Okay, I'm going up 40 miles from his house basically, and it was as close. Yeah, we climbed to Mount Parkland's hotel. Yeah, I know. You said to get the hotel as close to the train station as we could. And I did. No one mentioned that it was at the top of a hill. Not a soul mentioned this part, okay? But you yourself live in the Highlands, which does this shit nonstop. So you yourself understand what you're dealing with. Every crag and every tail that you have had to climb in your existence, you know what you're dealing with. I can only apologize so much. We got in Inverness in Florida, but it ain't the same. No, I'm sure it's not, because this Inverness is absolutely gorgeous. All right, I want to go back to Perth. Man, if I had a place I wanted to live, Perth is gonna be it. Inverness is beautiful. It's a little bigger, in my opinion, than Perth. Perth might be the central hub, and what I saw of it, it seemed smaller but more historical, in my opinion. And Inverness, it was a little more, I wouldn't say commercial, but it seemed a little more developed. There's the word I want, a little more developed. I don't like the way you say Perth now. Okay, Pyth! I'm saying Pyth! Damn it, let me pick one. I'm trying to make everybody happy. Okay, so Pyth was beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Just a nice little community. From what I saw of it, I was flabbergasted. But Inverness had a lot of history, but at the same time, man, whoo, it's bigger. It's bigger. It seemed bigger, and like I said, it seemed more developed. There's a lot going on down there. All right, so we get up, we drag Scottish up the road to the train station, and we're there so early that that God doesn't care that you're there, right? And what I found very fascinating was in the wee hours of the morning is there's like nobody out because it's either A, cold, or B, too early for everybody to be moving around. The 9 to 5 crowd really turns me on. I'm like, man, I would love to be able to get up, have breakfast, relax, get some yoga in, get some exercise, and then hit the train and go to your job at 9 to 5, like everybody else. I was in love with the whole thing. Every train station, after this it got a little busier, but right here in the morning, boy, it was quiet. So we're sitting there and together telling stories back and forth about his history and my history, and just general conversation. And then I took this picture because we could not find platform 9 3/4. I looked all over. I couldn't find. This was the highest platform at this particular station. It was platform 7. So I had to take this picture. And we get on the train, and I want to impress upon you people something. When I say that Scotland is magical, right, I want you to process what happens in these pictures. Because you're going to look at this. We're in Perth, okay? We're down here in Perth, and we try to get everybody happy. And look at this countryside. You can see for miles, it's green grass. It's cold. There's snow up there. But this is what you're looking at just off the train station. Wide expanses of territory. And it's farmland, and it's gorgeous, right? And look at this! In the same conversation, not very much farther up from Perth. Now you got me doing it. From Perth, you got snow on the ground like this right in front of the Forbidden Forest. And you're like, wait a minute, I just had green grass like 20 feet back this direction. And now I've got snow coverage. It's coming down. All right. It is coming down at this point, and it's great big snowflakes, man. God, it was so beautiful. And I'm oohing and ahhing at everything. And Scottish is telling me historical facts about where we're at and what goes on in this direction and the some of the battles that happen in the territory, And I'm just soaking it in because, man, I know I'm not going to retain a whole hell of a lot, but I'm enjoying the entirety of the process. Um, look at this! Look at this gorgeous chalet, if you will, from the Joymans. This house way back off in the forest from the train. Look at this. The entire countryside was gorgeous from A to B. And here we have wild haggis. We got wild haggis just running rampant, and here's where it starts to get foggy, okay? There's lots of countryside. There's lots to see. That the Highlands go on forever, baby. And it's starting to get the cloud cover's starting to get lower because we're going up. We're going up into the Highlands. Cloud cover's coming down, the snow's coming down, it's getting tighter, okay? But here's this wild haggis just running rampant in the middle of the countryside. I had to take the pictures for Minnie Vinny. They're like, look, Minnie, it's wild haggis. And, I don't want someone like Mountain Man getting excited because I'm showing pictures of sheep's butts, okay? I'm adamant I don't want that to happen. But there's all this wild haggis, and this is not the same group of haggis. It was three different groups of friggin' animals as I'm taking these pictures up the road. That one I aim back in the other direction. But look at this. There's all this open expanse and all these beautiful animals. Because I'm looking for things like the red deer. And hedgehogs and things like that. Isn't that a beautiful chalet? A nice Minecrafty style house made out of stone. Everything was stone there, and it's much nicer to keep the cold out and the heat in when you got the stones warm like that. America does it totally wrong. There's a whole porous wood and sheet rock and drywall. This is wrong. This is wrong on multiple levels. It should be stone, because it should be playment. It shouldn't be something you could punch a hole in. It should be. Hey, Damian Black. Hey, baby. Damian Black in the house. 1966. He likes to remind you that he's old. Hey, how are you, baby? It's a good to see you. Damian Black, my old tag team partner. He is now retired. It's not pronounced retired, but we can't say the hard R on Twitch. He's retired. The poor guy. It's a pleasure to see you in my little neck of the woods, brother. I'm talking about round 2 of the Scottish tour. Look at these gorgeous houses, the stonework, the snow. I mean, it was beautiful. But to go from green grass to snow was like, it blew my mind. Look at all this. Now, this is not vinyl siding by any stretch of the imagination. They got, how you spackle a ceiling? Well, they spackle the stones. So there's like this textured on the outside, I guess, to make it a different color or more modern looking or what have you. But it's not as pretty as these wonderful, I call them cobblestone, as I explained to Scottish, a collection of stone that isn't necessarily matching, I would call cobbled together. Here is one of the train stations that we stopped at, because, every train station you stop, some get off, some get on. And then the conductors, and the drivers, they change like constantly. Because this guy drives to this point, his shift is over, and he picks up somebody else who's taking over the drive. And then the conductor's the same thing. They hop off, they take a break, whatever, they hop back on, and they go the other direction. I would love that job. That's a cushy freaking job if I ever heard one. Ride the train all day and throw people off for being bums. But here we got a train station, and you got this cool wrought iron architecture going on here, and everything was kind of like this. It was stonework and wrought iron, very little wood. Wood was kind of like an accent piece, you know. It wasn't meant to be structural. So here's another one of these houses. I took these pictures to show differences because in the previous stream, thank you, sir. The previous stream, there was a lot of imagery of the churches and the different the different structures we ran into on that stretch. And this is just more of showing you the different styles of houses. In this particular area, this was the set that they like to use. This kind of cobblestone, you know, on all this pitch or chink. Some of us call it chink in the States. Between wood, is what they use between the stones. But yeah, it's just gorgeous, gorgeous scenery. Here's a nice lake. Look at the highlands in the background. As the mountains start to come up, they start to surround you because you're now cutting through the mountains. And this guy's just like, there's going to come a point where you're just looking at walls, brother. And he was right, because the deeper you got into the highlands, the steeper the mountains got. And then you were just running down the rail, and it was walls straight up. And I'm sure it was, you know, edged out to protect the railway. But you know, they didn't cover up or bury the farmland. They left it the way it was and ran that train down to do as little damage to the countryside as possible. And it's immaculate. And you're doing this number through the countryside. You can Google the train rail for yourself and see the path that we took. But I'm telling you, it was 2.5 hour drive. I think 2.5 hour ride. And it didn't feel like 2.5 hours. You know, it felt like you was just an hour, maybe a little more, because there was so much to look at. And I would love to spend more time on these trains and the gorgeousness of the countryside. You know, I bet you in springtime it's just the most amazing colors. I can't wait to get back. These Highland mountains. And there's nothing up there. There's animals. The Highland coo goes up there and disappears into the wilderness. The deer, the wildlife, and it's not touched by man. And all I kept saying to Scottish was, man, if you got up there with your gear on, it's hard telling what you could see, what you could find, how many more ruins there are out there that just are maybe undiscovered. And there's the sandwich. I was talking shit about you earlier, brother. I was like, man, he's probably sleeping, and I don't blame him. I'd sleep too. There's my man, DJ Sandwich. Brother, good to see you. We got a packed house here today, dude. We got Crash in here. We got Damian Black, my old tag team partner. We got Scottish lurking in the background, correcting me when I say something stupid, which is like every other sentence. It's a pleasure. I'm not there yet. It's a pleasure to see you. I hope you're doing well, and I'm loving the streams, my man. I'm loving the streams. Not a bad set yet. But here we are on the road from Perth to Inverness, and it's the train, and we're talking about the scenery, because this is some gorgeous scenery, my man. I just could not get tired of looking at the background. You know, I can't put into words how beautiful it was. Here is the train station. I think it's Aviemore. Aviemore is. He told me that this was used at one point in the Harry Potter movie. They shot, yeah, Aviemore. They they were using this particular stop as shots for Harry Potter. So I was transfixed by this whole thing. I had to take a lot of pictures. I didn't show all. I didn't do that. What the hell happened? Okay, I didn't show all the pictures. Avimore, Avimore, Avimore. You know, the train conductors run in their mouth every time you stop, and all I could ever get done was giggling every time they said "mind the gap." It's like, man, that never gets old. It's funny every single time. Mind the gap. Yeah, I just can't friggin' get over it and laugh every damn time. But you know, all like I said, all the stops they had this wrought iron. Gotcha. I got this wrought iron structure and the same kind of thing, but in different colors depending on where you were at. And yeah, this is where they shot Harry Potter, and I had to take imagery. You know, everything very, very ornate. I kept using the word ornate and elegant because when you got back here in the States and everything looks like my wall, everything's plain and white and smooth and square, and it's stupid. It has no life. You go into this place, and there's life in everything you look at. Look at these friggin' mountains. And like I said, we're going up. The cloud cover is coming down. The snow going nonstop. And it looks like this everywhere. And I kept telling Scottish that, you know, it reminds me a lot of the Smokies. Because I spent a lot of time in Appalachia. My great-grandmother lived up in the hills of West Virginia. I've been up here enough to tell you that from a distance, not at this angle, but from a distance, this is kind of what it looks like. The trees are much bigger in Appalachia. They're friggin' massive. Okay, hold on a second. So this is where I started shooting video. I'm just going to pause it. I'm going to keep teasing you bastards. This is where Scottish warns me, and he says, hey, you're fixing to go across the bridge. And I'm like, but I got to get my head out the window. I got to put my head out the window or say it myself. This train is modern. I can't open the window and stick my head out. I can't put the mailbag on the hook because I'm in a freaking box rail car that doesn't have an opening. Safety and, you know, shit. If I lose a head because the tree knocks my head off, that's my business, okay? So I wanted to stick the phone out the window so bad, and I'm like, thunk, and I go, damn it. And I'm looking up with my phone trying to get a good angle, and I did the best I could, guys. I swear to God I did. And he's like, this is where it's coming. And as we're getting closer, I keep trying to angle my phone. So this is me going across the Harry Potter Bridge, and Scottish knows the actual name of said bridge. And I've read it, but I can't pronounce it. But I need you guys to understand how exciting this was for me. I love the movie. You're going to see the railing there on the as we come to it. And it's not a very long bridge. It looks like it's 10 miles long in the movie. It's not that long. It's like a minute, possibly, you know. And we're humping on this train, dude. It's just a hoofing it. But you're going to see as we hit the ledge.
Miles upon miles of forbidden forest.
I told you! Forbidden forest, as far as the eye can see. It looks like this. And it's... Okay, so here we go. We're going to get there.
Oh my goodness.
There it is! There it is, right there! That's the best angle I got. But we're there on the bridge. I turned it sideways.
I can't get the good angle.
No.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I seen it. It's there.
I've seen it.
And I was on it. It was the most amazing.
That's cool.
It was the most amazing thing, man. I could do that 100 times and never get tired of it. But you see right there at the beginning, you can see that long curve angle, and I was just going, man, this is so cool. I love Harry Potter, And I know that everybody has their own opinion about, you know, the either the movie itself, the books, the writer, and the you know, the way that their lifestyle had to be for those movies to have existed. But I can assure you, as a lover of suffering for your art, which is what me and Damian Black do on a regular basis, we suffer for our art form. You have to respect the people who did that. Okay, did they enjoy it? There's a lot that they don't like to enjoy. They did not enjoy whatsoever. But they did suffer for their art, and what they gave us was absolutely phenomenal. And as Hagrid said, Robbie Coltrane said, these movies are going to be shown for the next 50 years, easy. And we're gonna enjoy them forever. And they were shot right here in the Scottish Highlands. So here I was in the bed of it, just eating it up at every angle. I can't wait to go back. I cannot wait to go back. I wouldn't want to be on this train every single day, but I would love to ride the old-fashioned Harry Potter Express train that runs in the prime season. I'd love to do that one time, just once. But I got an ad break coming up in about 5 seconds, so I'm gonna hold off until the ad is over, and then we'll continue on up the road. Okay? I love you, and don't you forget that. And we're going to talk about the Loch Ness Monster when we come back. And we're not talking about the thing in my pants either. The Loch Ness Monster is coming. And this was so much fun. So much fun. It's tragedy, you know, comedy. It was good. It was good. And the water. Jesus. Yeah. But yeah, we'll be right back, and then we'll cover the Loch Ness Monster. Yeah, I loved it. Ooh, that needs whiskey in it. Yeah. Do I have whiskey around here? Crash, do I have any whiskey? Oh, I got a whole wall of whiskey. Let me see. I know I want to start. Let's go to the bourbon. Bourbon! We're going to have some bourbon. Come on, where's that ad break? I need bourbon. Not as good as the Dalmore. But it's bourbon. What are you going to do? Yeah, Daddy. Okay. We got bourbon. We do have bourbon. I love it. We're going to have 25 seconds here, and we're going to talk about the Loch Ness Monster. It was a day. It was quite a day. I regret nothing. I regret absolutely nothing. There's nothing I would change about this journey. It was mind-numbingly awesome. It changed my whole life, and I'm never not ever alter a thing. Hey, look, we're back. Welcome back, everybody. The Crash, the Damian Black, the Sandwich, who I love. I love all my people, and the Scottish Tiger, who can sit there and enjoy the abuse that I'm going to give him. All right, Daddy, here we go. We got off the train in Inverness, and just outside of the train station, a good close friend of the Scottish Tiger, who happens to drive a taxi, met us outside of the train station, and we stopped to get us a snack, a candy bar, because I said I needed to have more American stuff. So I got a Coke and a Snickers. And you're looking at me going, but Vinny, you're not a sugar guy. You don't do that shit. And I'm like, Hey, it was for science. I had to buy a Coke and I had to get a Snickers and I wanted to get McDonald's, but I'm like, I'm not doing that even over here. Um, we didn't really have time for that. So I got a Snickers bar, which they also come in twos over there. They're so healthy for you. They come in twos, and and um, uh, the Coke, um, and then he got himself a couple of fruit drinks and himself a little candy bar. And we go to get in the van, which is a taxi, and I was already eating the Snickers bar as we're walking. And I want to tell you folks over here in the States, when you bite into a Snickers, yeah, you get a little bit of peanut and you get a little bit of nougat, but it's mostly goo. It goes straight to squish as soon as it hits your face because it's 99.9% some kind of a chemical that they've got concocted that is not actual chocolate. Um, I bit into that Snickers bar, and the nougat was solid, and it was mostly nougat. And that caramel, the way it used to be, the caramel on the top, and then the peanuts, and coated completely in chocolate. And unlike Canadian Mountain Man, I did not eat it upside down for the texture. Okay, I was in it for the science, and I bit into it, and you had to slow down and chew it because it was solid. It was an actual nutritional ish device, and I was amazed at it. But I carried the Coke around all the way. I should have kept the bottle, to be honest. But I carried it all the way through Loch Ness because as we're traveling up the road with the taxi driver, and he's pointing out things along the way, and he's asking questions, and we're kind of in conversation about the situation that he finds himself in, being stuck with an American and a Scotsman, and super nice guy, very honored to have met him. He's driving up the road and he's telling his own historical landmarks and facts, and in this direction and that direction, and God love him. I'm going to get emotional because it's one of those things. Like I said, the people were so nice, the countryside was so nice, the entire experience was life changing. Um, so I remember very, very distinctly the snow on the ground. And at this point, I don't have a signal because I don't have a worldwide carrier for my phone. I'm poor, so I have Walmart Straight Talk, and I'm gonna change that shit. But I couldn't get a signal, and then Scottish, he's not gonna have a signal because we're in his territory, but it's not something he can just rant up and do like we can. Okay, and then the driver, he had no clue. So we get all the way up here to Drum the Drucket, and he lets us out, and we're like, he's asking how long before you guys are going to be done, and Scottish says, give us an hour, maybe a little more. So we get out, we go wandering up. The guy points out, hey, you need to go in the front door. This is a side door. So we head out to the front door, and there's a sign on the door that says, due to the inclement weather, we are closed. Now, Scottish had already paid for the tickets. He got us a guided tour. All right, we were going balls out on the Loch Ness Monster. This was going to be an event, and here they are. They're closed because of the weather. There's about that much snow on the ground. In America, we'd laugh that off, and we'd be going to work anyway. In Scotland, we can't run the buses. People can't come to the facility. We're just going to close for the day. Fine. We didn't know that they were going to tell us that until we got back to the hotel, and sure enough, there's an email that they're closed. But at this point, it's the middle of the night. So we get to the front door, and this is what it looks like. And I had to take the picture because this is all I get, right? And we walked around the facility looking for anybody working whatsoever in the gift shop, so I could bring home crap for the kids. The whiskey shop to buy a very unique trinket. None of that. None of that was open. So we go back to the driver, and he's like, "All right, look, I got a plan." So he's driving, and there's apparently your inspection sticker. He's driving, and I start taking pictures because I was beautiful on the way in. This is the exact same road we took on the way out, okay? But I didn't take any pictures on the way in because I wanted to absorb it. And man, I'm telling you, it was gorgeous, and it was huge. You see pictures, you see the video footage of the documentaries, and you get an idea that it's a pretty good size. No. This thing is ginormous. You can see the both sides of Loch Ness clearly, but it's still a ginormous, deep loch, a body of water. And as Scottish loves to point out, that if you took every lake, tributary, pond, whatever, between, was it Scotland and Wales, you took all of those things and all that water, and you put them in Loch Ness, it still would not fill up Loch Ness. You would have plenty of room for plenty more water, because this is one of the deepest places on the planet. And so England and Wales, there we go, England and Wales. So yeah, I want you guys to realize that the reason why it's always this full is because the snow on either side of the mountain range, as it melts, it feeds into the loch. And boy, that water's running deep and fast because, and I'll show you, there's a nice cool picture through the trees. I was trying to take a picture of this castle from the angle that I was at, and I like way it turned out. I'm not mad at it at all. But here is a nice clear picture of Castle Urquhart. And I said it wrong. I know I did, but you can Google it yourself, figure out how to say it. I'm not going to be able to say it right. He's going to try and type it in for me. But we got up to the cage outside of this ruin. And Urquhart. Sorry. There's too many U's and Q's. Urquhart. And I took several pictures from this angle. But it was just a beautiful ruin. And this is the one that is historical, because most people see the Loch Ness Monster from this point. And I can understand why. It's a really nice location. I mean, look at that thing. The dilapidated ruin, but every one of us who are Skyrim buffs, every one of us who are D&D people, the nerds in this general crowd are going to get fired up whenever they see stuff like this. Because you're thinking, man, there's got to be some kind of treasure in that thing someplace. I got to go digging through that. Mm-hmm. I realized that I had video on. Oops. I was trying to take a picture. But yeah, it's just absolutely beautiful. And the width and the depth of this thing, it was encompassing, but at the same time it was magical, because you see land on both sides, and it just runs for miles and miles and miles as this long loch. And the water is like this the entire time. The wind is whipping over it, which is why I think you hear a lot about the Loch Ness Monster sightings. Long and thick, baby. Yeah, daddy. Because the waves are constantly whipping up, right? The wind's always blowing because you're way up in the Highlands, Dad. It is a gorgeous location. And on a clear day, I would love to see the stars up here. At no point ever that there was clear skies, but we weren't really out at night in the countryside. I would love to see the stars out there, but you could just get an idea of how expansive this whole area was. Look at all this. Oh boy. We're getting close to the big pop, guys. We're getting close to the big pop. So, many pictures of this thing for everybody, including my mother. I took this shot. Scottish goes, look at that, how it's framed in the vines right there, the brambles. It was a gorgeous shot. You can see that it goes down and curves a little bit, man. Massive amounts of water. Look at this. The countryside. So beautiful. Farmland as far as the eye can see, and this wonderful mountaintop. I never got tired of looking. I was out that window, just licking the window the entire time because everything was this beautiful at every single angle. Now in America, yeah, we got crap that looks like this, but we don't have wide expanses of farmland in the middle of a forest just everywhere you look. We don't protect our farmland nowhere near enough. And look at it go that way. It was huge. Huge. And the sky was like this the entire time. And it's not ice. That's choppy water. Okay? And, this is the sides of the Loch Ness. It is like this all the way down, so the snow constantly feeds the water. Then there's this huge stone wall along the edge of the road to keep you from diving in. Okay, so here's magic time, boys and girls. Here's where life changed for me. My driver says, much like when you go to the Appalachians, when you go to Gatlinburg, there's all these pull-off spots where you could take scenic pictures, right? The driver looks at me and he says, there's a spot over here with a stairwell. It's a real steep stairwell, and Scottish is not coming because there's no way. All right, there's no way. There's a real steep stairwell over here. He says, if you want to put your hands in the water, there's the spot to do it. So I go out of the vehicle, and this is just, it was beautiful this shot, so I took this shot. You see the stone. It's not a beach. It is stone from one end to the other. All right. And for you Minecrafty people, such as the Crash Override, it's granite. All right. It's a very granite-like stone, and here I am. I've walked down the stair. I'm giggling the entire time. I've walked down the stairwell, and I'm like, yeah, no, Scottish ain't doing this. There ain't no way he's doing this. This is scary shit because it was high. And it's snowy and it's wet because half of it's frozen, half of it's still melting off. And as you get to the bottom of the stairwell, there's water running right past me from where it's coming down off the mountain, and it's like a trickling stream. And so I take this image as I hit the bottom of the steps, and you see that there's no life down here. No one's been down here but me. And you got these beautiful stones, gorgeous stones of granite, and it's this cool red color. Because we see it, we think brick. This is brick or something, or clay. Americans would think clay, and then there's black stone, but it's granite, and it is the wildest looking stuff ever. But check this shot out. I mean, that is me at sea level, looking down for the Loch Ness Monster, and just look at how beautiful. I can't tell you. I can't tell you how much this trip meant to me. But The money shot's coming. Are you guys ready for the money shot? I shot a video for Mini Vinny. I shot a video for me. But the money shot is right here. All right. Next screen. I'm real close. I'm edging at this point. If that doesn't get a pop from the crowd, nobody gonna get one pop from the crowd. There we go. The money shot's coming, brother. But they had these big boulders that have just washed up. They haven't fallen down. They've washed up on this freaking beach. And, you know, this cool stone everywhere. All right? I want you guys to look real close at this stone. Hold on, we're almost there. Money shot.
All right. Well, here's the deal. I did not get to go to the Loch Ness Museum. However, I did get to come straight to Loch Ness. And Mini Vinny and Missy, Daddy's going to do something he never thought he'd ever do. I am here on the banks of Loch Ness. This is utter insanity. I am standing in Loch Ness, and it is awesome. So yeah, the old man is going to stick his hand in the water. Ah, Vincent, look at this. Here comes the waves. I tell you what, buddy, this is an experience. It's cold. It's very cold. But this is a very, look at this. It is a very cool experience. I'm telling you. So, Daddy loves you, and I can't wait for you to see this. This is so cool.
That was a life-changing experience. There's a lot of things that people get to do in their lifetime. And I've talked to several people who have, I was at Jungle Gems yesterday, and in the Scottish section, in the English section, and there was people right there. They were from England. She was English, and I was telling this story, and neither one of them had ever put. And they'd been to Loch Ness. Neither one of them had put their hands in Loch Ness. I put my hands in Loch Ness. When people say they've been to Loch Ness and they've done the tour and whatever, and I say, hey, you put your hands in the water? And they say, no. That's why I wanted to do it, because it's something that you can't take away from me. And it's something that no one, and I know that I've met, has ever been able to say. And that right there is my happy place. Right there. Whenever I start getting stressed out, or whenever I start thinking, negative or whatever, I put my hand in Loch Ness. And I was instantly hooked. And I was instantly cleansed. I have been a different human being ever since. And I hope you guys at home who have known me for a short time, granted, Scottish has known me for about 2 years. Damian Black and I go back, oh God, at least 15 years. At least. And I'm a different human being because of this experience. And I have Scottish Tiger to thank for that. Because I was in a destructive place, both physically and mentally, and the escapism is what I would call it. The escapism is gone. There's nothing to escape. I am the most tranquil and at peace person I've ever been. And the people around me who have been used to my chaos and my ability to handle chaos are really, really dumbfounded that I'm not the same person. Uh, so when I go to the ring at the end of the month and I don't know what you're going to get, I mean it. I don't know what we're going to get. Because the rage and the anger and the anxiety and the chaos is gone, and I look at this. This is where I go when I want to be happy, which is why I want to move to Scotland, because this is what living is like. But I told you I was going to get emotional. So we get back in the vehicle, and Scottish goes, while you were gone, I was talking to him about your wrestling career, and we were curious if you would like to do a little bit of Vinny for us. And without even hesitating, I go, oh, you want me to do this now? Okay, fine. What do you want to talk about? Because, yeah, I can do this for days. How are you? How you doing? My name is Vincenzo Bichetti. It is a pleasure to meet you. Are you going to drive this thing or not? And I let loose Vinny just a little bit for that guy, and his eyes got like this big because I became a different person for a second. And he was like, oh my goodness, no, seriously, I've been doing this forever. I can do it, it's not a great accent, but, it passes in the States. So I got into him a little bit about why I'm retiring. I was talking about Mini Vinny. Gave him a chop. No, this guy was bigger than me. This guy was far bigger than me. I was not going to mess with this dude. He was part Scotsman, definitely, because he was massive. No. For the full effect, yeah. Bam! Take one of those home with you. Yeah, give him the handprint from like I give everybody else. But no, I turned it on, and then Scottish goes, okay, you can turn it off now. And I'm like, all right, fine. I'm happy to turn it off. Because, I got 6 months to the end of my career. I got 6 months to the end of my career, and the two things I'm looking forward to the most are never shaving again, which I've already cleared. I don't give a damn what the promoters think, what the fans think. I don't care anymore. I'm retired. Ish. I'm not shaving ever again. This is coming out. I don't care. And the other thing is not doing the accent ever again. Because good God Almighty, I've been doing this for 25 years. I'd like a break. So I let Scottish in on a gimmick that I cannot really elaborate on for you people, involving my final match. Because he let me into his life and gave me this gift. So I gave him kind of the bullet points as to what I was going to do at the end of my career, if I can get it booked. If it doesn't get booked, so be it. I'm going to the Hall of Fame, and that's the end of the conversation. Okay, so we get back into town, and I'm still taking pictures out the window, and Sky's is like, stop it. We're going to be able to take this picture later. And I'm like, okay. But this is the castle in Inverness, and it was being worked on because they're remodeling and building it up. They were doing, and Scottish can elaborate. I forgot what he said exactly what they were calling it, but they were turning it into a museum, I think. They were enforcing it more or less. And then he took me to the mall. No, I'm just kidding. We went into a market that was in Inverness, and we he took me up here because he's like, I knew you would love this, so I had to bring you here. Um, and we went inside, uh, and there was this booth that had a lot of handcrafted wooden knickknacks. Um, the Body Prince Charlie exhibit. There we go. Thank you, sir. Look at this elaborate woodwork. The guy has made mushrooms sticking out of this wooden tree stump. And I was absolutely amazed at this right here. It's all handcrafted. It's not none of that, machined, 3D printed BS. This was handcrafted goodies. And so they're unique. And man, I stood there like, wow, man, this is really cool. And there's Mini Vinny. We found Mini Vinny on the tour. We got an ad break coming up here. I'm gonna try and get through this. We got a Mini Vinny that we had to take a picture of, and then obviously Vincent Drake. I had to take pictures of these dragons. These dragons were really, really elaborate. And look at the paint job, let alone the craft work. Whether he's using a Dremel or a wooden tool or what have you, he did a really good job on this. And I was just standing there in amazement. These giant mushrooms and all this here. And, the ad break's coming, just so you guys know. The ad break's coming. But all these animals, the elephant, the panther, all these things, and handcrafted goodies. This palm chair, like you used to see back in the 70s, 60s and 70s. This snake, and it's handcrafted. The skin on these things, it was amazing. The workmanship that these guys did. The scales on the Komodo dragon. I don't think I took a picture of the Komodo dragon. I stared at it because they were crisscrossed, and it was the coolest thing. Oh yeah, we'll stop there. The Highland Q. The Highland Q. Ah, crap. I forgot the gimmick. My bad. I forgot the gimmick. I'm a bad human. I'm sorry. I have to work the gimmick back in the other direction. Towards the end. I'll use that as the finish. It's the most amazing. I can't help it. Every time I think about it, I get emotional. I broke international law. I drug a stone 4,000 miles back to my kid. I mean, get out of here. I did. I get emotional real bad when I think about Scotland. I get real emotional. Mesmerizing. Okay, are we back now? We're back. Hello. All right, we're back. All right. Hey, everybody, or at least Scottish and language. Hey, everybody. So here's a Highland Q. We did see 3 Highland Qs along the along the road. It was early on in season for like the petting zoos and crap. They put them up because it gets to be too cold. And then they disappear off the countryside because again they go up to where they can sustain themselves. You're like a Christmas card, always greeting. Oh, I see. Yes. But yeah, there was these Highland cues on the wall, and I had to take these pictures. All right, so we walk through the shopping center, and then he takes me to his favorite restaurant in Inverness. And I'm like, brother, if this is where you love to eat, this is where we're going to go eat. So I go in there, and remember, I'm wearing this damn thing. I'm wearing this damn thing on my chest. And I don't need it. This was the dumbest idea for Scotland. Chicago, New York, Indianapolis, America in general. Yes, protect your shit, okay? But in Scotland, that was one of the dumbest ideas I've ever had. So I'm sitting down with this thing on my chest, took all my gear off, threw it down in the corner next to me, and Scottish and I are having lunch. Okay, we've gone up to the lock. We've come back to, is it Girvins or Jervins? I think it's Girvins. Girvins. We've gone back to Girvins. And I think it's Girvins. And it's his favorite restaurant. So I'm like, brother, let's sit down and eat. Whatever you want is what we're eating. And I was still fixated on the meal we had the night before, where it was like small portions. Okay, if you're out there, people, give me a sign that you're still alive. If you're not Scottish or Sandwich. So I ordered 2 different portions because I'm like, I ate last night. I could eat more. I want to experience more. So for my pregame, I ordered the haggis baked potato. And I want to repeat that you do not eat haggis straight. Haggis goes with something else. So whether that is your potato and turnip, which is standard, naps and tatties, you have this right here, which is another way of having it, is a baked potato with haggis. And you do not eat it, either one of these things straight. You do not dump the haggis onto the potato, you stupid Americans. You pick up the potato, you pick up the haggis, you put it in your mouth, okay? That's the way this works. So obviously, being an American, I ate the salad first because I'm a freaking American and I don't know any better. You're supposed to do this with this and this with that and have a good time. This was a mustard seed dressing, and it was absolutely amazing. I love the hell out of this. Everything was very fresh, very clean. The potato, it's not covered in salt like in the States. It was a little, I want to say, overdone, but I'm not a Scotsman, so I don't know what proper is. Okay, but this plus this equals heaven. This is the haggis, which, like I said, this is the haggis. It is absolutely phenomenal. There's 5 servings in this can. I just realized there's 5 servings in this can, and each serving is 200 calories. So you eat this whole can, it's 1,000 calories in this can. Oh my goodness gracious. Very low carbs, but the protein is 7 grams per serving. So you eat this whole can, you're getting 35 grams of protein. I love Scotland so much. Okay, I put this back. Put it back, leave it there. Okay. Packed with flavor, Daddy. Just like me, baby. Just like me. Packed with flavor. All right. Then we had the main course because I'm a fat American. Bam, Daddy. Bam. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't help it. By the way, you can see Scottish over here. He's having an iron brew, which I picked up at Jungle Gyms yesterday. I missed you so much. I have to nurse these because I'm not going back to Jungle Gyms for a while. It's 3 hours away from me. But here's some iron brew. I have one back here that is stationary that I will save for probably my birthday because that one's going to be the last one. But I love this stuff. It is heaven. It reminds me of being in Scotland. Okay, this is Balmoral chicken. Balmora being Balmora being a location in Scotland, or at least in the general area of England. I can't remember particularly, but what I've got here is Balmoral chicken. I had to explain this as a butcher. I had to explain this all the way through. These are fries. These are not overcooked baked potatoes. They're not potatoes that are meant to be like, you know. These are chips. These are fries in the States. Those they go with your fried chicken. Potato wedges. These are not potato wedges. These are chips. All right. This place made real chips, and man, were they good. But here you see that mustard sauce again, and it was phenomenal on the second time. But what I need to point out to you, stinking Americans and the Canadians who are listening, which I also despise, this is bacon, but it is not streaky bacon. It is not streaky bacon from the States. This is Scottish fatback bacon, okay? And Balmoral Castle was built in Royal Deeside at the bequest of Queen Victoria after Albert's death. And I know Sandwich has got a Prince Albert, and he's just not telling us. I know for a fact that Crash does. Crash has got a Prince Albert, probably in his mouth. But that's neither here nor there. You do you. The bacon here is what we would call in the States is pork loin. But it is loin bacon, and it is sliced relatively thick. And they use that to flavor the chicken. But the chicken, get this, is also stuffed with haggis. Hold on, let that sink in. Want me to say it again? One more time. Okay. The chicken is also stuffed with haggis. And it was one of the best flavors I've ever had. Balmoral chicken is probably one of my top 3 favorite things to eat because this was good. I wish I hadn't had the potato and haggis because I was stuffed at the end of this thing. Here's another thing I want you to realize. That vegetables are not food. Vegetables go with the food. Vegetables are not food. They accent the food. Okay? This is the food. So here we got some broccolini, which is a young broccoli. And then we have your standard young string green beans and just 3 beautiful slices of roasted carrot. And when you talk about this sauce with the onion in it, and you talk about the haggis, you talk about the chips, and you talk about the bacon, you add a little bit of this in here. My God, this was one of the best things I ever eaten. I absolutely adored this meal, and I hope that they're doing well at that restaurant because man, it was so good. All right. So we get out of there, and here is the shot of down the street. And keep in mind that the stones are all stone. There's no asphalt. Oh, absolutely, sir. Absolutely. It was amazing. So yes, all the buildings are made out of stone. The road is stone. Ew. I love the stonework. The school was out because of the weather, and here's a random kid making a snowman in the street. And I had to take it back to show Vincent, like, look, when there's no school, you don't sit in front of a TV. All right, go ahead. I'll be right here. You go outside and you play in the snow. And this kid's out here just knocking out a snowman like it's his job, right? He's doing storefront advertising, and he's knocking out a snowman, and I'm in love with the whole idea of a kid who is very healthy, by the way, outside doing some physical activity. I'm gonna try to hang out for sandwiches as long as I can. I don't want to miss nothing because you already missed like, the first few minutes of the show. This right here is part of the middle of the street, and it was this beautiful ornate Celtic design. And again, it's all stone. There's this, just everything is elegant and thought through. Like if we need to do this, we need to do it beautifully. To accent the area, to accent the culture. They are very, very proud of their history and their culture, and it shows in everything that they do. I enjoyed this immensely, being able to see the differences in the cultures. I had to take a shot of this up here. There's a market up that way apparently, and we didn't go up there, but there's stuff going on up there, up these steps. Here's what the road looked like. Okay, everything was like this, beautiful, ornate. It had meaning. It had value. It was not meant to be just. It has to be there. It has a purpose, but it also has to mean something and be beautiful. It can't just be asphalt that for your tires. People will walk in here, not so much driving. Here's a manhole cover. I took a picture of this because back here everything's round. This here is square, and everything was square. The toilets are square. Everything's friggin' square. It was a different world that I was in. Here's another kid building a snowman, and again, between the stones and the children, I'm taking a gazillion pictures, and Scottish is just watching me, He's like, stop being a tourist, you bloody Yank. Okay. Yeah, I made you British for like 3 seconds. I'm probably going to get yelled at for that. Outside of this area, as we're traveling back to the train station, is a unicorn, which is the symbol of Scotland. Again, it's a majestic creature, magical and powerful. I told him back in the States it's pink and girly, and it's not considered masculine or of male in nature, but it is the symbol of Scotland, the unicorn. I have a unicorn in my family crest, and I'm German, so it can't be that bad. Used to play marbles in the drain covers. I believe that. That would be an interesting. That would be an interesting because of the way the pattern is. That would be an interesting thing to play on because you could get that marble stuck in one of those U's. That would be fascinating gameplay. I like that. What was that? 70 BC. Yeah, it had to be like 70 BC. Did they even have marbles back then? That was before the wheel, wasn't it? Well, here's the entirety of the. I'm gonna get heat for that one. This is the entirety of the statue here. It was very, very beautiful. I like the blades, the gulls flying around the outside. And then here's another statue to commemorate the Egypt campaign. And here's all these blades up in the sky. But here's a Scotsman over a Sphinx. And I kept asking, like, what's with the Sphinx? This is odd. You don't normally associate these two things, but yeah, it was about the Egyptian campaign in Khartoum. So I had to take a closer picture. It was very, very odd to see a Sphinx and a Scotsman in the same place. It's Falcons, you filthy Yank. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's Falcons. Peregrine Falcons. That was my bad. So we walk inside the next area, and here is this gorgeous scenery, and it was like something out of a movie. The people who put the time and effort into this stuff, just so gorgeous. Gorgeous. drawing on chalkboards. This is just amazing. Amazing. At the Victoria Market, yes. Here's a window. I took a picture of the handcrafted goodies that are in this here store. Very, very impressive. But yeah, just handcrafted goods. None of this prefab nonsense. It's clearly made right there. Absolutely wonderful. Here's a Highland Q statue. And I took that picture for Mini Vinny basically. And then this was on the side of it, you know, some of the stuff around Inverness that is very important. Quite elegant. So we were out the market, out the back, and we come down a side street, and we stepped into a tartan shop because it was right there. I'm like, we need to step in here. We go into a tartan shop, and there's this very beautiful young Scottish girl, and she said that they're so backed up, it'll be about 10 weeks to make it and ship it to the States if you want it in a specific size and color. And I'm like, man, I was hoping to take one back with me. But they had Freemason regalia in one of their trophy cases. And I'm like, Scottish, they've got Freemasonry goods. So they knew who they were dealing with, okay? But their stuff was very, very nice. It was clearly handmade. It was clearly, local. And I would have loved to buy from there. But like I said, I didn't want to wait 10 weeks to get my friggin' kilt. So that was the first place I stopped. And it kind of gave me, as we went further and we saw other shops, I started to kind of coast downward because I was concerned that I wasn't going to find a kilt. I was concerned that I wasn't going to find the gear that I wanted in the time that I had. And then I thought to myself that I shot myself in the foot by not going ahead and agreeing to being measured and picking out the pattern. I was starting to get a little upset. And Scottish, he was doing his thing, but I was preoccupied in my head. I was enjoying myself, but clearly I was preoccupied. We stepped out of there. We went to another place, and it was a meat shop further down the street. And I'm like, dude, I got to go in here. And here's this guy, John M. Monroe. He owns this business and this chain, and he's clearly an old style butcher, and he's proud of what he's got. If you put your face on the company logo, my friend, you own that. So if anything goes wrong, it's your face they're going to come looking for. That's ballsy. But it also means that he's got high standards and he's got good quality. He ain't worried about it. So I'm very impressed right off the bat with this. I did not take any pictures inside of the shop, not because I wasn't thinking of home. I was being respectful because I wanted to speak with the butcher, and I wanted to see the things, and I wanted to take it in, and I did. And Scottish introduced himself and my presence, and said that this guy's a butcher and he wants to speak with the butcher. And the guy walks up, and we spent like 5-10 minutes going back and forth about things, and he showed me the haggis inside the sheep's stomach, and he showed me the various cuts that they had laid out there. And I'm just going through the case and telling him how beautiful everything was, and it smelled so clean. And we got to talking about my job, which is the egg inspector, and he was talking about the double yolk eggs. So yeah, it was about a 10-minute conversation, which ended with we don't want any of that American poison over here, and why do your people put up with that shit? And he ended his statement with bah. And I said, absolutely, they are dumb sheep, and they just go with what they're told. They can't think. They're not trained to think. So I fell in love with this whole thing. It's a small market. that they only cut what is necessary. They don't do anything that's not. I mean, I'm sure they do a few things that is their unique stuff. They got their sausages. They got the important things, but they're not making crap that's pointless that you can't do at home just for an upsell or for a markup price. They sell you the thing. We'll do whatever you want to do with it. Just buy the thing, or we'll teach you what to do with it, or what you want to do with it. The way a meat shop is supposed to operate. And by the time I walked out of there, I absolutely needed to go back to cutting meat, because that behavior is where I come from. It's not about profit. It's not about upsell. It's not about try and shove product out the door. It's about getting the customer what they want, and they'll come back to you as long as you take care of them. And that's where I belong. I'm going to get emotional again. This is an anger cry. This is not a sad cry. This is an anger cry. I hate that I've been forced out of what I was good at. It's sadness is what it is. But I have to get back here and find work with what makes me happy, in a place that deserves it and appreciates it. Okay, so we're back up the road, and everything in Scotland is, as Scottish said, every color of the rainbow. And here's this church, and it's got purple doors, and I'm in love because the doors are purple. Like, come on, man! In America, you can't get anybody to wear purple. You can't get anybody to have anything purple. And here we got a church with purple doors, and it was gorgeous, and it was ancient, and it's immaculate. Look at the patterns that we cannot redesign, we can't redo, we can't remake, and these purple doors. I was just like, dude, this is home for me. Everything's purple. I love it. 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 It's almost like I planned it. Yes. Yes, you did, my friend. Yes, you did. The purple church doors. It was, dude, it's so cool. Today it takes me over here to the Foundry. And this building also, with all of its architecture, was just stood out in the crowd. And I tell you, every single building I came to was so beautiful. So beautiful. And he said, take pictures of the workers for me. And I did. And there's one. There's two. They're working. That's a lathe, for those of you who don't know. And there's three. There's that wheel I was talking about earlier. And here's a gargoyle. Everything was so beautiful and meaningful. Here we go, a plaque. This plaque commemorates the opening by their Royal Highnesses, the Earl and Countess of Inverness of Dunbar's Hospital, following the completion of its restoration by the National Trust for Scotland and the incorporation of Accommodation for Aged Concern, Inverness, 3rd of July 1987. There's a lot of history at every street corner. And here's that spackle I was talking about. The wall was covered in this textured spackle. Here's another shot of down the street we were walking. A little more modern buildings, but this beautiful clock tower of a church in the distance, and all this stuff at night is just so beautiful. And here is a tomb. This is somebody's tomb. And he walks me up behind this church. He says, this is where I come when I'm in Inverness because it's beautiful and it's peaceful. And I come up here, and he walks me up to this thing. The old toll booth. I come up here to this tomb, right? I'm up to this tomb, and it's missing a sarcophagi. But look at this creature. And I just stood back there. I took 2 or 3 pictures of this. This is the one I got for you guys. But I stood back and I watched this thing going, man, get real. This thing was meant to be something, right? It was meant to last. It was meant to be a mausoleum, a memorial to this whoever was buried there, and they meant for it to mean something, or they wouldn't have put that much work into it. It was one person. So it's like, good God. They cordoned off an entire place just for that one person. It might have had a top on it at one time. Maybe they wanted to keep him in, you know. I don't know. But, man, the whole thing, just so ornate. And it was out of place when you think about, you know, here's a spackled wall. It was kind of out of place for where it was at, but it was the history of that very corner. You're like, man, I'm standing here and it's very important, and I don't know why, but I need to be respectful. So, dude, this is the kind of stuff that I saw everywhere. We got an ad break coming in about maybe 10 seconds. But just the coolest stuff at every step in this place. And I can see it 100 times and never get tired of this. It's amazing history. Let's get this ad break out of the way. We'll continue with the graveyard and the church right after the ad break, which will be as soon as they decide to throw it at me. Only way I make money, and I don't really make money around here to begin with. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to make memories, and we're doing a great job. Doing a great job. I love that. Yeah, Scottish, man, I'm telling you, it is some of the best things that ever happened to me was going to Scotland. And it's hard to fathom that, 4,000 miles from this friggin' seat is some of the most beautiful things in the world. And, clean and clear, and here I am in this friggin' dungeon. It's, it's tragic, but at the same time, man, like I said before, if they quit flying planes, I'd walk my ass out to Alaska. I would take the boat across to Russia and Siberia, and I'd walk my happy ass back to Scotland. A boat here and a boat there, but I'd walk my happy ass back. Now, it may be cheaper to just get on a boat and come across here on this side, but I'd have to earn it the old-fashioned way. You know what I mean? All right, welcome back. We're gonna go back through this church cemetery. I was always impressed with the doors. Everything was these wonderful double archway doors, and they're made to be that way on purpose. It has to be made the way it was originally, and this church had a couple of these doors. And these headstones, very, very ancient, but so beautiful. I took some wide shots to get in some of the different headstones. Um, Ancient designs, but this Celtic design here. Uh, and very quiet, very peaceful, very beautiful imagery. Um, this church in particular, on this side, is up for sale. They've moved out of this church, but it is up for sale. But it is one of the most beautiful churches that I've ever seen. Um, I love this whole area here. There's one of these doors in this wonderful turret shaped room off to the side with these windows. Man, I would love to live in something like that. We don't do beautiful things like that over here. Everything's friggin' square. And then here we go with this. This was very cool. 150,000 pounds, which is more like $2,000, $200,000 in the States. 30% markup. These obelisks. It's just such a beautiful. Look at this way off in the background. These columns back here. No matter where you look, there was beauty. You just had to find it. Another series of the headstones. Then the land goes way, way off. Here's the front of this one. I think it's a church that's up for sale, by the way. Yeah. These beautiful doors, beautiful windows. I love this stuff here. The Victorian and Gothic style. Everywhere you went was a beautiful church. Because they did it to have meaning. They did it to have value. Everything was beautiful. Everything was beautiful. Oh yeah. So Scottish, this actually happened. I took this picture, and Scottish goes, don't worry about it. We're gonna get closer to that one. And I'm like, all right. And sure enough, boop, there it is. The very next picture I took was this one. Purple doors. Iron Age castle on top of the hill you pointed out. Okay. But yeah, this right here. The Iron Age. Holy crap. Iron Age castle. But yeah, look at this here. Just everywhere you went was just absolute unbelievable beauty. There's a guy and a girl and all this stuff. Unbelievable beauty. Everywhere you looked. And I'm sure the locals may or may not appreciate the level of beauty. Here's that picture I promised you taken of the Inverness Castle. I appreciate it deeply. Oh, look at this church. So this is where Scottish asked me, he's like, man, are you okay? And I'm like, listen, I'm bent out of shape over this whole kilt thing. So I was having a great time, but I was transfixed on the kilt. So we walk up here to this church. Is this St. Andrew's Church? I forgot. I want to say that's what it is, but I'm probably wrong. This was a very big and a very beautiful church, and for a donation, you could wander in here and see the inside. So obviously, St. Andrew's Cathedral. See, that's what I thought. I was right. I just called it the wrong thing because I'm an American and I'm stupid. This church in particular was absolutely insane beautiful on the inside and the outside. cannot express to you enough how impressed I was with this. We're getting there. What you want? Come here. Say hi to Scottish.
Hi, Scottish.
He can't see you. Get your face in the camera.
Hi, Scottish.
You gonna wave your hands and bite cartoonist? Okay. Say how you been, Scottish.
How you been, Scottish?
Look at this chart, Minnie Minnie. You didn't get this far in the pictures. Look at these statues. Right?
Uh-huh.
Somebody had to craft that with their hands, Vincent. That's not made with a machine. All this was carved out of stone with someone's bare hands. You have to appreciate what you're looking at. And it was amazing. They did all this stuff with their hands. All these statues and all this. And it's still standing there. It was done so well that it's still standing there. Right?
Uh-huh.
He has not. On day one, he tried to read me the book, and I passed out because I was out of gas. I've asked him to read the book, and I told him he has to read the book on stream. So it's kind of why he's like lurking in the background, because he's been waiting on me to bait him in to do his part. He knows what the book is.
Yeah.
But we're getting to that. We're getting to that. He's got his haggis notepad out there.
Yes, I do.
Hey, where you going? All right, you can come back in a minute. All of these. Oh, Vincent, he's asking you a question. He was asking you a question.
All right.
Read the question.
How is your pet wild haggis? Well, he is good, but there's only one flaw, Scottish. And do you know what it is?
He can't see you. He can't see you.
Do you know what it is that's wrong with the wild haggis?
You have to wait. You have to wait 15 minutes for his response. Just a second. He doesn't know.
Every time I do something else and I lose track of him, he wanders off into other parts of the house. And one time he went into my mom's room and they stuck him stuff on top of the cupboard. And then one time he got on top of the it was the thing that we put things on. Yeah, and one time I left my door open and I was losing track of him and he vanished. I'm like, where the crap did he go? And then I go into my room and Dada's in there, and then I look up on the light and I'm like,
he had crawled up on top of one of his lights and was just hanging out.
That's what wild haggises do. They like to explore.
Yep. Do you know where he's at right now?
He's still on this stack of papers.
Bring him in here so that people can see him. Here's this angel baptistry. And again, just some of the most gorgeous statues. And this is as close as he could get to it, you know. Careful, the camera's right there, Vinny. This is wild haggis. Let's show the people. Let's show the sandwich, because he's going to have to go back and watch this. There's the wild haggis. It is a wild creature, and he gets into trouble quite frequently. But he is a round a round object and is just one of the wildest things I've ever seen. So don't lose him. Put him somewhere where he won't wander off. I caught him wandering off earlier. I caught him on the floor, and I was going, "Hey, where you going?" So I put him up on the table to keep an eye on him. He started to wander off on his own. Ugh. Here's your Celtic cross, golden emblem. The stained glass in this church, right? The stained glass, it is every single one of these windows. They had to piece every little bit of these things together, and they're all different. He said something to you.
Says the wild haggis jumped into my hand, so I passed it to your dad, Mini Vinny.
And I told you that one day I had him in my luggage, right?
Yeah.
And I opened up the luggage because I was putting my stuff in there, and he had crawled off into the corner, and I was like, "What?" I see the Loch Ness monster. Where the heck is the haggis? And he was over in the corner, trying to get away. So yeah, he found it. I didn't. We were looking at the Loch Ness monsters, and he found that wild haggis. It jumped into his hands, and he handed it to me. Yep. It was meant to be. So now it's yours. Good luck. I will call you back here when it's your turn. Okay? Because you're going to have to come back, and I'll yell for you. Right?
Okay.
All right. So seeing as we've lost the crowd that we had earlier, I'm going to cycle through these pictures because Scottish has already seen them. The people who watch this stream in the future need to be able to see these pictures. Here's a tapestry woven, and I have no clue how old it was, but very pretty. And all these stained glass windows, man, I mean, all of them, just absolutely unreal how much detail is in these things. And again, they got to look at this. They got to piece together every little bit of these things. They don't just make a piece and shove it into place. I mean, they got to piece every little bit of that together. And I mean, amazing work that you just had to stand there and in awe. You had no words. The amount of effort. Oh yeah, this thing. That was way up there. It was way. That's the closest. I had to zoom in. It's the closest we could get to it. That was way up there. And if you look at the patterns, I just noticed that the patterns that are in the wood. They got to get out of here, man. These guys meant for this stuff to be ornate and beautiful. I told you, it was way up there. All this. Get in there and look how much time they had to take to make each and every one of those little bitty. I couldn't imagine. Could not imagine. Here's the long shot down the center. And then all this stuff here. I mean, come on. Get real. Just the coolest thing. America doesn't have anything this nice. We never cared that much. This stuff. They cared about what they were doing, or they wouldn't have done it in the first place. There's a Scottish tiger. Oops, my bad. Didn't mean to catch you looking. That's my fault. And I'm gonna post all these on Facebook so you guys can zoom in to your heart's content and look at these pictures for yourself. Inverness St. Andrew's Cathedral. And here's the Pope. For some reason, just hanging out. Alistair Campbell had one Pope, apparently. And, yeah, these were missing. And they couldn't replace them, so they just filled it in with these blanks. I don't know if it was meant to be like that or if they were damaged and this is all that remains, but I find it hard to believe that they would do that and just leave it. I find it very hard to believe. Because they were all like this, right? So I would say it was probably damaged at some point. Absolutely immaculate. You know, all these fine details, man. You know, Scottish, I was looking at this earlier when I was prepping, and I was like, wait a minute, that's a pot leaf. That is 1,000% a pot leaf. No, it's not. It's a palm frond. Well, maybe, but that looks an awful lot like a pot leaf. Look at this. Look at this. Beautiful no matter which way you looked. And it went on like this throughout the entire church. The Good Samaritan, I'm guessing. Oh, yeah. So we get out of the church. We go up the street, and I stepped into a deep water puddle, and I had shoes on that were waterproof, but Scottish did not, and I got both of our feet wet, and I felt bad because it was friggin' cold at this point. But we come up to this bridge, and this is the bouncy bridge. Oh shit! I shouldn't have said that. My bad. No, I take that back. I take that back. That's not what I said. I did not say that out loud. There's a picture somewhere that talks about that bridge. That's why I said it like that. That was not what I meant to say. So this is the River Ness. Okay, this is the River Ness, and the River Ness is liquid fast. It is so fast because the water coming out of Loch Ness at a gazillion, it's filling up and it's pushing out, and it is so fast that if you dropped into this stuff, you would be in the North Sea before they could save you, because you're just gonna go sweeping down the River Ness and you'll be gone. There's no way that you they have people that can try to save you, but if you can try and beat feed it as fast as you could towards the downstream and across onto the bank. But I'm telling you, it's cold as it is, you'd probably freeze to death before you ever got a chance to save yourself. I saw this statue here, Faith, Hope, and Charity, which is a big thing with the Freemasons. Faith, Hope, and Charity. And obviously the Scottish Rite on our side of the fence. Here's another beautiful, I want to say this was a hotel, but I could be wrong. It could have been a church. But yeah, it's a church. But everywhere you went, it was like Disneyland over here. Here's Santa's City Hall. Thank you very much. That's City Hall. Here's Santa's mailbox. I had to take a picture of a mailbox to show Vinny what one looked like. This one was dressed up as Santa Claus's personal mailbox. So after all the walking and all of the travels, we sat down in a place that served evening tea or afternoon tea, and because in afternoon in Scotland it's basically dark. We sat down here and had some tea together, and I'm not sure they liked us being there. I don't know what the heck the deal was. We were between shifts, and they were like, "Yeah, we're not working yet. We just want to sit down and warm ourselves and get some tea." And so we skipped the main course because we had a really big lunch. We sat down and had this tea here, and it was very, very good. Obviously, I'm having milk, okay, and then there's his tea. That way, you got an idea of what it looked like. Vincent, come here.
What?
You didn't get this far in the pictures. You wouldn't let me go any further.
What the?
It was a ride. It was where you could sit down there, either take pictures, but it was a ride like you find in the States. It was Ben and Holly, and I had to take the picture for you. And what's his name? But yeah, Ben and Holly. Okay, you can go right now. I'll call you back one more time, okay? We're almost to the finish. All right. So, this is the towel rack that I was talking about. We're going into the evening, so we're back at the hotel. And I was going to stream, but we were both exhausted from miles of walking and talking. And that's a Scottish towel rack. All right. So here's what happens: is that this thing is hooked up to the heat. All right, and you take this creature here, and I had to ask Scottish what it was. Yes, and you take this towel after you've used it to dry yourself, and you hang it on the rack, and it heats and dries the towel. So you don't have to wash it. It's going to dry itself. And you can use it again. I don't know how many days in a row you'd want to do that, but because you're going to get skin on it, regardless of being clean or not. Or in Sandwich's case, you're going to get the remnants of whatever hooker blood is still on your place and that you didn't get washed off. So here's what that looks like. And then I had to take a picture of the square toilet. This is called a join guard. It is not a lid. We call it tomato juice around here. This is not a lid. It's a germ guard. It goes over top of the entire toilet and seals it off to keep the germs from coming out. You see, the toilet paper is in a different fashion than here in the States. It's most places that I saw were like this. They were on. It was on this single spike, and underneath was full of like 2 or 3 more rolls. And then obviously the water glasses are right there above the toilet. And you're looking at me going, why is the water glasses on the back of the toilet? Because everything around there is clean, fellas. The nation is very clean. The stones are clean. The water's clean. The air is clean. So that's why the back of the toilet has your drinking glasses on it. And then, I wanted to point out that every place had the 2 buttons for how much water you're going to use to flush with. Okay? And then the water came out of the back here and out of the front there at like three jets of water to push everything down. Very efficient, very cool. Here's a shot from my window to the train station. That's how close I was because Scottish said, we gotta have a room real close to the train station. So that's what I did. But yeah, it's that close. And here you see a charger. From the last stream I pointed this out, but here is a clear shot of the ports they have over there in Scotland. Here is your plug. Hello. Not the same kind of plug that our friend Crash likes to use. This kind of plug here is what we're talking about. It has your outlets for America on this side for me, and then you plug it into the wall, boop, like that. I got it near and dear to me so I can keep an eye on it. But also you have the USB chargers right there on the switch, and then this is the on switch, this is the off switch, so that the power is not constantly going out through the plug all the time. It was a more efficient system in my opinion. Here is one of the radiators. I finally figured out how to use the damn things, but it was 2 days too late. But yeah, it's got this shield on it, but the radiator is behind there, and that's where your heat was coming from. Natural gas, obviously. And it was very, very efficient, boy. That room in particular kept me nice and warm. And then here's the nightstand. I've obviously eaten the biscuits out of it. But we have hot cocoa right here. It was a coffee. No, that was hot cocoa. That one was hot cocoa. This is the tea, and I brought them home, and I've already since had them. There's the coffee. And then you got brown sugar, you got white sugar, you got milk, and there's a cup. And obviously, like I said, the tea kettles were very, very fast. You plug those things in, and boom, man! In 2 minutes you had boiling water. So this was inside this nightstand. I took it out and put it up here to take the picture, but it was inside this nightstand, and it was fully outfitted for your needs for your stay. But we're gonna go into an ad break right now, okay? So let me get this ad break done. We're gonna do 2 more big moves, and then we're gonna be done with this stream. We're gonna talk about the thing that I did that is illegal, and then I'm gonna show you my tartan gear. So stick with me. I'm gonna take a bathroom break, and then we're going to go live with some goodies, some show and tell, okay? Sit tight, be right back. And yes, I'm going to leave the stream on because it's a break. What the hell go to a pause for? I'm not professional like Sandwich.
How long is this going to take?
2 hours later.
It's a trap!
It's been 84 years.
Ugh. I'm getting stickers now. 2 hours later. I'm getting stickers now. That's lovely. Ugh. I'm glad you guys figured out where the buttons were. I thought you had forgotten all about that shit. Okay, we're back. I got to see a commercial break live on my own TV in there because Mini-Vinny's in there watching me wake. Glad you guys found the stickers. Thank God for that. I didn't think my redemption still worked because it's been so long since I've done a gaming stream. You were entertaining yourselves? Good, because God knows I am not entertaining. For the life of me, I've tried, and I know for a fact I suck on ice. So, Anyway, let's do these several little things real quick, and then I'll let you guys go back to your day. Don't throw a brick at that script. You broke it. You broke it. That's how you get into the club. It's not how you get in here. Jeez. Okay. It's not a brick, it's a stone. Okay. All right, let's do some real quick show and tell. Then we'll let everybody go on with their day, because I gotta get ready to take the kids to a Christmas parade. This is Lego Dumbledore. Dumbledore. He rode with me in my chest pouch the entire time. Okay. So he went to Scotland, so now he hangs out with me, so he doesn't get lost. But I took Lego Dumbledore over the Harry Potter bridge. I get to keep him. Okay. That's my boy. And you can Google this crap yourself. You don't need me showing you. But Scottish was kind enough to help me collect as many coins as I could to bring back and show not only you, but Mini Vinny. This is the £1 piece. They don't do $1 bills. It is a £1 piece. So when you got to spend $8 on the bus, you drop 8 of these coins into the machine, and you get to spend $8. But that one right there is a 1, and then Scottish gave me, and I tried to exchange him. He's like, keep it. And I'm like, okay. This one here, oh shit. This one here is a 2. It's ever so slightly bigger. It's got the Queen's face on it. Obviously, they haven't transferred over to the other. And then all these other ones, these pences. We got I got 1 single pence in here. The hell did it go? There it is. I got a single copper pence. All right. Bear with me. Single copper pence. There's a 5 pence and a 10 pence. I think a 5. Hello? That's a 20. That's a 20. This one's a 5. It looks like a dime. It's a little bitty guy. It's a 5 pence. Yeah. And then I got the 20 pence. There's got to be a 10 in here, right? Maybe there's not a 10. What? Where you going? There's a 20. A copper 2 pence. Oh, yeah. Yeah. 2 pence. You are correct, sir. Copper 2 pence. Oh, what's up?
I was playing my game.
And you lost again.
I still got that. I got that boss, and he was at 2. He was at 2 lives.
You're getting closer. Good job. Hey, let me see your face. You got a busted. Yeah, you need to go have mom wipe your face. You got some blood. All right, and then this is a 50 pence piece right here. Great big. I like this one because it's got all the quarter edges on it, like it's a hexagon or some shit. A septagon maybe is what we counted that one day. But that's not the cool part. That's all the coins that I find cool, and I collected these as I went along and paid for odds and ends. But I want to show you guys this. Here is plastic money. It's made out of plastic, okay? And this is a 20. And they all have different designs on them, okay? Very, very cool looking, but they're plastic. It's not paper. It is plastic. Here's another 20, but it's a different 20. But it's a 20. 20-pound note. Absolutely gorgeous pieces of paper. Plastic. Really cool to look at. Here's a 10. But just really, really neat. 10 pounds with the Queen's face on it. And then here's a 5. Found a 5er while we were up the road. Check that out. The Scottish salmon, boy. Woo! Woo! 5 pounds sterling. All right. But that wasn't what I did that was illegal. That was my legal transaction. I'm going to show you my illegal transaction. If you recall, back in the... Hold on. Let me just drop this down, open this up, and go right to the gimmick. Where's the video? Video. Why can't I see? Oh, it's right here. Right here. I told you guys to keep an eye out. Nope. Or was it that one? I think it was right there. I told you guys to keep an eye out. I broke international law and I drug some stones back to America from Loch Ness. So in my hand, I'm holding Scotland. I brought this back for Vincent because Vincent took Scottish, I took Scottish, a stone from here at the quarry, and it was from Vincent. I took Vincent back some stones for his collection. But I get to hold Scotland in my hand, and it's granite. So this was some of the coolest moments of my life, and I get to hold it in my hand. And like I said, this is my happy place. This is where I go when I want to be happy. And I think about Loch Ness, and I think about Scotland. All right, so that being said, let me dial back the story just a minute. We're going to go, after the church, we went in this direction. Yeah, it was after this. After this statue, going in this direction, we came to a tartan shop, House of Tweed, and we met a gentleman by the name of Constantino. And let's be honest with ourselves for just a minute. Constantino was floating about 15 feet off the ground. Okay? He was a little, I don't know what the word I want to use. Let's just say he knew his fashion. Okay? We'll put it to you like that. I'm a big fan of those people because some David Blaine. I'm gonna do David Blaine. No. He was a little light in his loafers, yes. But again, a fan of Rob Kincaid. I have no problem with any of that. So we went into this tartan shop, and the first thing I noticed in this great big showroom was, just like Scottish said, there is every color under the sun for tartan gear. If you want yellow, by God, there's yellow. If you want green, or you want, I don't know, pink, pick a random color you wouldn't think would go to Scotland, and you're like, all right, let's do some blue, or let's do some, God, I can't even think now. Brown, you know, any of these colors that you're like, it's not necessarily showy, but it's right there on the shelf. It existed in this room, and I'm like, this is the place. And what really tipped me off was, well, let me show you. And let me show you. This is Vincenzo's fedora. Okay? This is my new fedora. It's purple. And I can't get enough of it. It is my favorite thing. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is going to the ring with me the next time I do a show, right? This is definitely going to the ring with me. But it is 100% wool, handmade from the House of Tweed. And my God, brother, you want to talk about comfortable. As soon as I put this thing on, I was like, oh, this is mine. I don't care how much it costs. This is mine. You can't have it. So I put this on and I start looking at the shelving, and we come to the kilts, okay? And I had to put this on and show you with what I can with the camera angle. I'm going to show you what Constantino set up for us, okay? But let me tell you a story first. So we're standing there, and I find this fedora, and I find the purple kilt, and Scottish and I are talking about it, and here comes Constantino, and he's talking about, you know, what do you want? And I told him what we were after, and he's like, he goes, I got you. I'm gonna make you a Highlander. I need you to go take off your clothes in this room. And I'm like, okay, I'm not sure that's where I want to go, but I went in the other room and I left my shirt on, and I'm like, oh no, he meant take the clothes off. So I had to strip down to my skivvies, and while this guy was putting on everything, and man, Manny, I need you to go to the other room because I'm gonna put the gear on, and then I'm gonna yell for you, okay? So I'm gonna keep talking. You guys can throw stickers, but he put me in the other room, and he gave me this gear, and he says, I need you to put this on for me. And I was like, okay. And he comes back with this arm full of stuff, and he starts setting it up, and dresses me out, shows me how to put it on. And I guarantee you I'm not going to be able to put it on right now because I'm probably 5 pounds heavier than I was that day. Or at least 5 pounds because I'm back in the States and I'm eating all this crappy frickin' poison food. But Scottish said that I was not allowed to show Mini Vinny at all until we got to stream it. He goes, I want to see Mini Vinny's face when you put this on live on the stream. And I said, all right, that's what we'll do then. So here we are, as requested. I'm pulling up my socks, which I love, by the way. Let me try and put this thing on without breaking anything. Oh, he buckled it. He buckled it on the outside there. I had to be real careful when I was shipping it back in the. Cause I put it in the vacuum bags, right? And I didn't want it to pop the vacuum bag. Oh, I see how it buckles. That's fascinating. Okay, I got you now. I'm with you, Constantino. I'm with you. It goes in there like that. That is cool. Okay. And he picked out one. He's like, I'm gonna make sure that even if you gain a little bit of weight back, that you can still wear it. And I was concerned that that me buying this off the rack, that I was gonna,
and I can't get up.
I was gonna get fat and not be able to wear it. Or even worse, my biggest concern was sitting down and breaking it. Right? So here I am strapping myself in. Give me just a second. It's not as easy as it sounds, fellas. It's actually quite difficult. And you got to be careful because it's dry clean only, you know, so you don't really want to. You don't want to get it too dirty. Gonna put my shirt on now.
Inconceivable.
Ugh. I call this my Princess Bride shirt because, man, what I think of every time I look at it is Andre the Giant. That's the first thing comes to my brain. Like, oh, it's my Princess Bride shirt. Well, I'm not going to get this thing buckled or buttoned because I'm on the inside of it, and it's not going to button for me. I mean, it might. Hold on. Just be patient. This is the big pop, okay? This stream had two big pops. The first was definitely Loch Ness. This one is the second big pop.
This lesson, old man.
You can do it.
I'm getting it. We're almost there. But yeah, Constantino hooked us up with a good look. A really good look. And I'm very, very pleased with what I bought with my money.
He didn't fall.
Oh, shut up.
Inconceivable.
Getting text messages from God knows where. All right. There we go. All right. So let me get the first part out of the way. Let me get my hat back on. All right. Okay. Are we ready? We're ready. Check my. No, I don't have my shirt tied up properly. Hold on. One loop.
2 hours later.
Okay. Now we're there. Mini Vinny. Get in front of the camera. Come on. Watch out, there's a chair in front of you. All right. Good job with your eyes closed. Get in front of the camera. We'll make sure you're in front of the camera. Scoot. No. Come up. Stand up. Because the chair's not in front of the camera. Come on. A little more. All right. Turn your head. Wait. Too far. Right there so that they can see your face. All right. You ready?
Ready?
All right. Open your eyes.
What the heck? You're
Scottish.
You're very
So here we are. Ta-da! as gorgeous as I can be in all of my luster, Constantino hooked us up because once we had this fedora in our hand and we're talking about wearing a kilt, he goes, I don't understand what you're trying to, what are you doing? And so Scottish takes and gets a picture of me off of the internet and he shows Constantino, this is what he normally looks like. And I dropped into Vinny for just a second and I was like, so, here's the back, you know. He's like, oh, this is a whole thing. He goes, I love this. Give me just a second. And he goes and he starts throwing this stuff together and he comes back with this sporin and it's this rabbit fur and it is just immaculate, right? Oh. That's pure wild haggis right there, Daddy. You know, pure wild haggis. But he was so kind to me. And he fell in love with the whole concept of the purple, right? So he's like, no, you got to have something like, because I'm big on black. I've always been big on black. He said, no, you got to have something light colored versus the dark kilt and the white shirt. It needs to be a light color. So I wasn't sold on it at first, but as soon as I seen it, I was like, oh, okay, now I understand what he's going for. So yeah, I got the long socks that go on underneath it. I got to get the boots. I got to get the jacket. I got to get all the the hat. But this is my hat. This is what Vinny does. You know, everybody else has got the cool the hat, and I'm gonna have a fedora, and they're gonna be like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Because I'm from Jersey. That's why." So what do you think, Vinny?
That's very cool.
You like that?
Uh-huh.
I think this is awesome. I don't care what anybody else thinks.
It is awesome.
It's one of the best things I ever spent money on. It made me feel so good. I was so concerned that I was not going to get what I wanted while I was there. And then Constantino, man, he helped us out big time. So what you think, Vinny?
I think it's cool.
Yeah, check it out. So, as we're checking out, I was talking to Constantino about, why we were there and what this whole thing was about. And I told him, I said, I want to do something nice for me, this whole trip and this kilt. I want to do something nice for me because I've never had anything nice. And I felt like, I've spent a lot of years being abused. So he goes, tell you what, stay right there. I've got a gift for you. And I'm like, all right. So I'm standing there and I'm like, what is going on? And Scottish goes, no, really? He's got a gift for you. And I'm like, man. So he come back with a box of shortbread cookies for me to have. And then he gave me this. This is a $50 retail, $50 kilt pin. And it goes right here. So if you didn't want your kilt to flap, you pin it right there and it'll stay together for you. And it's just an accent piece, right? But he gave it to me. He said he's like here you go. My gift to you. And yeah, it was awesome. Let me try to sit down. Yeah. I was afraid that I was gonna blow out the buckles. I've been eating bad crap for the last couple of days. But yeah, it was quite the experience being made into a partial Highlander. But that's where we found the wild haggis. Was while I was buying this and I was in the middle of talking to Constantino, here comes the wild haggis. And I said, oh, that's got to go home with me. Now you have your wild haggis.
And it's Roman free.
It's Roman free. Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah, in our house.
All right. Hit the road, Jack. I got to finish my stream.
Really?
You can go watch from the other room. I got to finish my stream. But, all right, what did I miss? Constantino texting to ask if you need help holding anything, right? Right? Absolutely. But no, I love it. It's very comfy. It's very cozy. He did bring the whole thing together. It is Constantino did a really good job, and that's why I call it my Princess Bride shirt, because man, Andre the Giant. That's what it looks like. We traditionally don't wear anything below the kilt, so you don't want it flapping. Right, exactly. Okay. So obviously Sissy's tired of me not inconceivable. Sissy's tired of me not giving her any attention, so I got to get back to work. But this was the biggest chunk of the Scottish tour. I got a minute before the ad break, so I'm going to hurry up, wrap it up. This was the biggest chunk of the Scottish tour, and it was the most meaningful. The Loch Ness, and then getting this put together, and having Scottish there leading the way. This was the most meaningful part of the journey. This was the big pop. This was the climax of the journey. And then the last stream I will do will be what I would call the finish, but you have to keep in mind that it's a heel finish. All right, so it's me taking the under. And it's everybody else is going to be disheartened with it, but I'm telling you, I wouldn't change a thing. Not today, not tomorrow, ever again. I would never change a thing. But as this ad break goes in, I'm going to be done. So I want to thank everybody for dropping in and saying hi to me and spending some time with me, even for a minute. All my people, and Sandwich especially, in Scottish, thank you for sitting with me. Scottish, I love you, buddy. Thanks much, and I will talk to you soon. We're gonna get together and we're gonna do that Fortnite thing in a little bit, okay? But yeah, I'll catch you later, and we'll talk. Be good.